Coral Island has just announced its first major update, and we have a lot to talk about. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Payton. It is nice to meet you, it is nice to see you, and welcome to the corner. So Stairway Games gave us an early holiday present today at 3 a.m. and they released their November 2022 developer blog, and this blog post specifically includes the information about a major update coming to Coral Island. This update is called the Feedback Update, and it primarily focuses on bug fixes and improvements to features we already have, but it adds in a lot more stuff other than just fixing what's already there. Most notably, controller support will be in this update. They're planning on releasing this feedback update in the second or third week of December, so it is coming up soon and we need to be ready for it. So in this video, we are going to break down this developer's update, go over what all of the new features are going to be, what the improvements are, and just get super excited that we already have an update to this brand new game. But before we get into it, please be sure to click the lovely little like button as well as subscribe for more cozy, chaotic content like this. Okay, I'll shut up, let's get into it. So I'll link this blog post down in the description in case you guys would like to follow along with me or if you just want to check it out at your own time. Let's start out with the feedback update. So this is stuff that's already been in the game, but that's been improved and added to based off of the feedback from other players. Firstly, you can craft from anywhere. So now you'll be able to craft using items that is stored in your different chests. This means if you want to make 1,000,000 mason jars, you don't need to run to your chest to get a whole stack of glass. It's such a time saver, especially if you decide you need to craft something last minute and you're far away from your chest. You'll also be able to see more information about the crops you planted, so you'll no longer have to guess or try to remember how many days ago you planted your potatoes. You can actually hold over next to the crop and it will tell you more information about it. It's going to tell you what type of crop it is, which is so helpful because there are so many times I've planted something and then I'm missing one and I need to like replant it and I don't remember what it is because it's not fully ready. And it's going to tell you how long it will take until the crop is ready for harvest. There will also be an icon that says donated on artifacts and on, the bugs, whatever you donate to the museum. There will now be a sign to note you've donated it, so you don't need to go all the way to the museum anymore just to check to see if you've already donated your little bug. This same idea is going to be implemented with the magical offerings, an offered sign, so you'll know if you've already given an item needed for one of the magical offerings. This one is so big for me because I struggle with it all of the time, but they've improved interactions with farm buildings, meaning you can now enter and leave the farm buildings a lot easier. In case you're like me, you may have struggled with sometimes you can't find the right spot to actually click to get into your barn, but now it should be easier. Hopefully we don't have to accidentally leave our coop 1,000,000 times when we're trying to pick up our eggs. This one is super exciting too. Being that Coral Island has a huge map, there's now going to be a button where you can find a character you're looking for. So you'll actually be able to click on whatever character you want to find and it will help you find them easier. That way you don't aimlessly have to look for Mark as you give him yet another shiitake mushroom. Speaking of the NPCs, there will also be a sorting feature in the NPC tab, and you'll actually be able to sort by certain criteria. Specifically, you'll be able to sort by upcoming birthdays. So now you don't even need to necessarily look at the calendar. You can sort just on your own screen based off of whose birthdays are coming up. You can also sort by heart level that you have with them and also by who is an eligible marital candidate. This next one I'm so excited about. I am the fisherman queen over here on this channel. Not in real life, but in farming sims I love to fish, and now they've reduced the waiting time that it will take for a fish to bite on your hook. This was one of my first things I said in my first ever stream playing Coral Island. I was like, the fishing in this game is my favorite fishing I've ever played, but sometimes it takes so long for the fish to actually bite the hook, so you're wasting a lot of time. But in this update, it'll take a lot less time for the fish to actually get to the hook, and therefore fishing can go by a lot quicker. Another thing we have is the ability to resize a couple things. Specifically, you can resize the cursor. You can either make it bigger or smaller, as well as the other gameplay bars that are on your screen will be given some more accessibility options to make them either bigger or smaller. The next one is added rope as a rare spawn in the mines. From my understanding, what this means is you might just find a rope readily there for you to go down further in the mine without having to hit more rocks. This does seem like it will be rare, but if you find it, it'll be a great way to get through the mines faster. Another amazing quality of life update, the price of moving your buildings has drastically dropped. In case you're like me and you can never decide where you want your buildings to go, no worries. The price of moving your buildings has now gone from $2,000 to $300, which is so much more attainable. You can move your buildings a lot more easy, so you can make your design exactly how you want without having to worry so much about money. Going along with your farm, hay is going to be easier to get, so you can finally stop neglecting your cows and your chickens. But hay will now be able to be found while destroying weeds and grass. I'm not sure if you need to just skip the mill altogether at this point, but it seems like we'll be able to acquire hay on our own, other than just using up all of our fiber. Another improvement is they're making the mysterious letters you get a little bit more easy. Specifically, there is a mysterious date. I won't spoil it, but they're making it a little easier for you to understand so you don't miss it. I often miss the mysterious letters and what they're talking about, so they want you to not miss the things they've put in the game. They're gonna make it a little bit more easy for you to understand what's going on. The next improvement we're getting is a little bit of an easier way to manage your inventory. Pressing the middle mouse button on a stack of items in a storage container will automatically move them to the next available spot in the player inventory. So that way you're just doing one click instead of two. You're not clicking the item and then clicking where you want it to go in your inventory. You're just clicking one time for a bit of a faster transition into your pockets. Going along with that, you'll also be able to have more sorting options inside your chests, so if you like organization, it is about to get a lot more organized. There will also be a sorting button for your backpack, so no worries, your chest can be organized and your backpack can be organized as well, so the organization comes with you as you leave your farm. There will also be the option to add AM and PM to the display of the time, so if you're like me, sometimes you struggle with the military time conversion, it's gonna be a little bit more easy if you'd like to add in the AM/PM conversion. That way you always are absolutely certain of what time it is. The next one says buffed the price of crops slightly. I think that means the price of crops is going up. So when you sell things, you'll be able to make more money. Going along with that, they've rebalanced the artisan goods, processing time, and they've increased the price. So when you're making honey, hopefully it takes a little bit faster now, and you'll be able to make more money whether you're making jam, mayo, yogurt, all of that good stuff. You're being rewarded for your hard work at processing your goods. The next one is so ironic because I just brought it up in my video from yesterday, but the decorative calendar is now functional. So the decorative calendar you can buy in the game will now actually work, and you'll be able to see birthdays and events easily. A big chunk of this update will actually focus on your character's appearance options, which we'll dive into a little bit more deeper, but just going in the order that they've posted on the blog. There's gonna be an option to match your hair color to your eyebrow color. If that so suits you, you can have your hair and your eyebrows match. There will also be hair physics added to the game, meaning that as you're running, your hair is going with you and behaving in the way that it naturally would. It should be able to sway with you and feel like actual hair. Another update that we have is map markers, specifically when there are festivals, so you'll actually know where the festivals are, and then maybe you won't miss them like I do. The next one is improved behavior of spawned wildlife. I don't know what that means specifically, whether that's the bugs or like the panda and the monkeys hanging around, I don't know, but the wildlife is gonna get better. Another new update is the 2 gift per week limit is now excluding birthdays. So if you want to give someone 2 gifts per week as usual, but you want to also give them a special birthday gift, you'll be able to give them 3 gifts per week if it's their birthday. The next one, I don't know how I feel about it, maybe because I was taking advantage of this feature, but they've nerfed how often legendary fish like great white sharks can be caught. I did not know what the word nerfed meant, but I googled it and it means decrease, meaning rare fish are gonna be more rare and you can't catch 10 sharks in a row on a summer afternoon like I do. which I guess is good because they want to make it more rare, but you know, sharks are gonna be a little bit more hard to find now. Another update we'll be getting is a storage dresser. You can now put your clothing items in the dresser. I think it's limited what kind of dresser we can use for now, but still, now you don't have to waste a chest just on your extra clothing items. You can put it in a dresser. This one is super exciting. They're adding coffers and geodes to be able to be found when fishing. So sometimes when you're fishing, you might just reel in a geode, which is super exciting. This gives you another way to potentially find gems, artifacts, and resources without necessarily going to the mines or diving. Speaking of coffers and geodes, we're talking about the museum. The time is now gonna move twice as slow when you're inside the museum. So if you want to go inside the museum and explore and take in all of the hard work you've done in donating, now you're not going to waste your whole day in Coral Island just by doing so. Time runs differently inside the museum. It's going to be slower, and so you could take your time to just stroll at your own leisure. We'll also be getting chests placed inside your home. So if you don't want to look at all of your chests outside, or you just want specific chests for your inside items, now you'll be able to do so. Another inside your house update, the TV shows will go away after you've watched them, so that way you won't be questioning if you've already watched like the Weather Channel today. It's gonna go away to signify that it was already watched today. They've also rebalanced the requirement for explosives. They're not specific here in what they mean for rebalance. I'm hoping they make it a little bit easier to craft because I think that they require quite a bit for explosives currently. So I'm hoping that this means the explosives are gonna be a little bit easier to make. Also, maybe not. Maybe rebalancing is them making it more difficult. They're also improving the spawning logic of fish, so now there should be more of a variety of fish when you're actually fishing, which I think is great because oftentimes whenever I go fishing, I find the same 2 fish in a row, and I know there are more fish than that, so now we should be able to see a little bit more variety as we're fishing. This one I love, but the non-functioning festivals aren't gonna spawn. You're not gonna hear about a festival unless you can do it. Thank you, thank you. The amount of times I've gotten my hopes up about a festival just to stroll up and it doesn't exist or it doesn't work. They're no longer gonna be in the game until they're ready, so you won't be notified about something that's not there. The final fix before we get into the new features is that the rain and storm will be less likely to damage your crops. I actually didn't really experience this that much, but apparently it was a thing. If your crops get damaged a lot in the stormy weather, they won't as often. And those were all of the fixes. Now we're gonna get into the new content. Oh my god, they've given us, this is gonna be an hour-long video, I think. Not that much information about the first 2, but there will be a museum donation user interface and a lab fossil process user interface. I don't know what exactly that's gonna mean for us specifically, but we're gonna get some new way about donating and processing things at the lab. I'm excited to see what it's gonna look like. This one I love. We're getting a festival pamphlet user interface, which is going to be when you go to a festival, there'll be a pamphlet where you can look at, and it's going to tell you all of the events that are possible at the festival. So if you're like me and maybe you missed a couple of the mini games at a festival just because you didn't click on the right area, now there'll be a place for you to see all of the events all at once so you don't miss them. The next one is a soft bristle brush now allows fossils and torn pages to drop. I don't know what specifically this means, but I do know I was given a soft bristle brush at one point and I've done nothing with it. I'm assuming this means that more fossils and torn pages are going to spawn, but I'm not quite sure what they have in store for us here. And then the next thing is a library book user interface, so we'll actually be able to interact with the books in the library, which is kind of crazy and unexpected. There will also be damaged books that can spawn, and they could be assessed in the library, which is super cool. I'm not quite sure what exactly that's gonna bring for us, but I'm excited to find books in Coral Island. Like, who knew that was gonna be a thing? There's now going to be rewards for more things. So there's gonna be museum rewards added. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure if that's like you donate a certain amount of things and you get some kind of physical reward. That's what it sounds like to me, but we're gonna be rewarded for all of our efforts, and I appreciate that. There's also going to be a festival reward system for when you play the mini games in the festivals. I guess if you win, or maybe if you come second place, you're gonna get some type of reward from the festivals. I'm hoping they're festival specific rewards and not just like money, but regardless, hey, I think that's gonna be a really great feature that we don't already have. They've also added some new plants into the game. First one I'm not sure how to say, is it rambutan? Rambutan? We also have banana, avocado, and dragon fruit, which is super exciting. We'll be able to make some more things, and I'm just excited to see what they look like in the game as well. This one is super exciting. We'll now have the option to look at our farm from a bird's eye view. So if you really want to check your design aesthetic, or if you're looking for resources and you want to just get a quick view of your whole entire ginormous farm, you'll be able to look at it from a bird's eye perspective. The next one is crazy, but we'll also be able to delete our save data. So if you want to do a hard reset, you don't want to just make a new save file, you want to just delete it and start over again, you can if you want. Another new feature is cows and sheep will now display all possible interactions for them. It's going to show you hearts, it's going to show you milk, it's going to just be right there, which is great and helpful because sometimes I've gone in to milk my cows and I'm not quite sure if they need to be milked, and then the little icon with the milk button doesn't show up right away. So now we'll be able to see right away everything that we could possibly do with our animals that day. And the biggest new feature is the addition of a lot of hairstyles and clothing options. Specifically 20 hairstyles, 61 pieces of clothing, and new indoor and outdoor furniture. We've got 17 new outdoor furniture items and 24 indoor furniture items. I'm not gonna go over all of the bug fixes specifically, but there are lots of them. Most notably, I think for the bug fixes are all of the typos and grammar have been fixed that were wrong. In the water mine, the cracks on the ground will give you silver ore instead of bronze ore. All the utensils are now actually available to purchase at Socket and Pan. Fish bait is now craftable and functionable, and pressing E and spacebar will let you speed through the dialogue faster. But there are some other bug fixes you can check out by reading the full developer blog down below. And lastly, the game is now going to feature controller support. I believe some of the new updates might be a little bit iffy on the controller support right at the bat, but now the game will detect if a player is plugging in a controller and will automatically switch all button prompts into controller mode. So if you've been waiting to play this game because you really want to hold a controller and the keyboard and mouse isn't for you, it is time. You will be able to use a controller while playing Coral Island. Oh my god, and there you guys have it. That is the first update we're getting for Coral Island, the feedback update. While primarily focused on improving features we already have, it is so exciting the amount of content they're giving us, and the new things seem really exciting. I personally am so excited about the new customization options, and I cannot wait for this to drop. Once again, they're saying that this update is going to come to us some point between the 2nd or 3rd week in December, so coming up soon, but we'll have to stay tuned for some more specific information. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, please be sure to click the lovely little like button, as well as subscribe for more cozy, chaotic content. Leave me a comment down below your thoughts about this new update. What are you most excited about? What are you still wishing we're gonna get? Keeping in mind the game is still in early access, and for a first update before the even full game comes out, I personally feel like this is a huge improvement and a lot of content. It really shows that Stairway Games is very passionate about this game and willing and ready to listen to our feedback as players. Thank you all so much again for being here. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!